Hi everyone, I am here with Torben, who has been part of the Danish national team and is a good training buddy of mine. And Torben, you and I are going to be looking at some of the lists for the Danish Nationals this year. You are not going yourself for health reasons, but that doesn't mean we can't look at lists.
Yeah, I am really sad about that.
Yeah,
Danish National is always a very good event.
yeah, it is.
Um,
Although
it
you're
is
not a
definitely.
massive fan of escalation.
No, I'm a very small fan of escalation. I really don't like it. I do have to say,
Yeah.
but it can, when that is said, it can have some really fun aspect, both in building your army because you have to think in a very different way. You can't do your standard list that you just throw away,
Yeah.
standard competition list that you just throw away. And that is a good thing. So it makes you think.
Yeah.
And but it is how it comes down to what kind of player you are and how much you like building your list and how much you go into your army. That
Yeah.
also comes down to it.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy it more when it's a stand-up tournament, especially for the high-value tournaments. It's just my opinion.
Yep. But today we're going to be discussing other people's lists. So the caveats are, as they typically are with me, this is just our opinion. If we don't like your list, I'm sorry. We're just two dumb guys on the internet. We know nothing about what we're talking about at all. So, we picked out a couple of lists. Torben, you got to pick a couple of lists. I picked a couple of lists. And we're going to start with Lars Andreasen, who is this year he's actually the captain of the Danish national team for the WTC. So I will open his list here. And I'll talk you guys at home through the list. By the way, link for the list will be in the description for this video. And then me and Torben can, as we go, give our unvarnished opinions about what we're seeing here. Right. So we have a 19 order dice list. 19 order dice for me is fairly good at 1250. Inexperienced platoon commander in a rifle platoon. We got 2 scout squads, 5 men, some machine guns. We got a couple of dog mines. We got an anti-tank rifle, light mortar, inexperienced. We've got an armored platoon with a Darker Steward, a T6, 2 T60s, and a Lee tank, which is like the big one with the multiple turrets and stuff. We've got an artillery platoon with a single heavy autocannon and a platoon commander, and 2 light autocannons and a tractor. Finally, he's got another rifle platoon with another platoon commander, regular infantry with LMG, no LMG, just a Panzerfaust, and a scout squad with SMGs. And that is his army. This is pretty much the army that you played against in the hands of Lars Andreasen last weekend. So what do you think of it?
Well, personally, I love the Soviet Union. I've gone very much into Soviet Union myself in V3.
Yep.
And it's pretty standard having the scouts which can forward deploy, the dog mines. Personally, I would have taken more dog mines. I'm not that into the anti-tank. I know they're good. I'm not saying that. I just prefer playing the dog mines, especially with the new outflanking rules. They are absolutely excellent. The light mortar, yeah, it's good, but it's a single light mortar.
Yeah.
And as soon as it's a single unit that dies that quickly, I don't approve.
Do you think it's just because he wants that extra order dice?
Yeah, I think that's the reason why he's done it. And in fairness, that is a good pick.
Yeah.
But again, if it's me personally, I would like to come up at a minimum of 3 light mortars so I can concentrate them and concentrate the fire where I don't want the enemy to be. Or in a special case, smoke or something.
Yeah.
That's just me. When I look at his tank choices, I mean, we've got the Stuart light tank. The Stuart is not like V2. We can agree on that.
Yeah, but it's still good.
It's still good because he can give out multiple pin, or he can give out pins to multiple
Yeah.
units, and that makes it really good. Personally, I don't like the light anti-tank gun. I always go medium anti-tank gun. My personal favorite is the SU
Yeah.
76.
Yep.
I've been using that a lot.
Yeah. And in most of your builds, you're bringing two SU-76s.
Yeah,
Because they're
straight up,
just so good, right, at killing other tanks.
straight up the middle, dogs in the flanks
Yeah.
works perfectly,
Yeah.
as you know.
But I personally really like the T60s. I'm a huge fan of those.
I was just about to say they are doing really good in V3.
Yeah.
Have really excellent small tanks. You still have an armament of 8. They're good for maneuvering around, just ignoring people or killing small units, but you can also take out tanks with them.
Yeah.
They are really good tanks. It's a good choice, especially for 105 points. That is the Lee.
That's an interesting choice, though.
That's a brave choice.
Yep.
That's a very brave choice.
It's expensive, but double gun on that thing. One of them a medium AT gun and one a light AT gun. I mean,
yeah, and that is good. He can he can pin multiple units.
yeah.
It's very good at splitting fire. Personally, again, it goes beyond the points that I spend on one unit. I have a maximum points that I'm allowed when I'm building my list. I have a maximum points on each unit that I'm allowed to spend. But he spent 230 points on it, and he's still got 19 order dice. That is a good standard.
It really is, yeah.
It is vulnerable, though.
Yeah, and that's the main problem, isn't it? Because it's sort of a medium tank 9+. You want it to be in the center, but if you're in the center, you get outflanked.
Yeah, and it easily catch fire as well.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a choice for me. I like it that he's brought it. I think he's got balls, I do have to say. But I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't dare.
I own one, I fielded one, and I've also been wrecked by Lees. So I think I'm more of a fan of the Lee than you are. But yeah.
Well, you played the 8 Army, so and they were very good in the 8 Army. All records says so. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how he does with this list, because the Lee is definitely a chance.
It is.
And we got the artillery platoon, and I do enjoy the also cannons in Reef. They are so harmful. They really are. And he's fielding 3 of them. And what was it, 2 months ago, I was playing a tournament with 3 myself. And typical when I've been doing tournaments or playing in tournaments, one of the things I notice is that it's very open. There's not a lot of terrain on a lot of the boards. And if the case for the Danish Nationals is the same, they're going to be very good, because he can position them and take out whole lines on the board and simply do a perfect crowd control.
And Lars and me have a little bit of beef going on about boards, because every time I've been saying that Warlord Games wants us to put more terrain on the tables, and I am saying that you should put more terrain on the table. Every time he comments, I am going to put less. So I'm guessing that he really likes his gun line here, which I understand is a really good choice, and it's so cheap, right? It's dirt cheap. 40 points for that. The interesting choice for me is he puts gun shield on his light autocannons here, which I wouldn't do that, but
I can understand that. I had that on mine as well, actually.
And so you can put it in the open now and be where you want to be, basically.
Yeah, it does give that little extra protection for your flag. And with the new rules with example, the Americans with the flight observers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just a good bet to take on some flank in your army.
Yep.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's very good because if that plane lands, it can cripple your whole flank.
Yeah. So
So it
having
is,
3 autocannons with flak is a very good bet. It's not
yeah,
just a gun line; it's also an anti-flak thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Personally, I detest the gun line.
Yep.
You know this.
Yep.
That is me personally. My playing method is very aggressive.
Mm.
I've been told. Um, I do like having the backup of the autocannons. I really much approve this list. I
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah.
It's
Very
a good
good.
choice.
Very good list from Lars here. Next list that we're going to look
Oh,
at.
we still have one more platoon though.
No, we've gone through all of it. 4
Oh,
platoons. That's it.
fair enough. I wanted to talk about his. Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
Go.
Anywho, we're also going to talk about Thor's 1250 list. I've already done a video where I talked you guys at home through Thor's 600 points list, but Torben wanted to talk about his 1250 list. So it's 20 order dice, 1250. He brings tanks. Oh, so many tanks. And it's the 8+ 1-man turret battle snail list, right? So he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 battle snails in his list. 7. And these are frankly bad, but they have a light AT gun. Every single one of them has a light AT gun. And a hull-mounted MMG, so they can split fire. And then he brings his standard setup of French. I don't know why he's equipped them with skis, but I guess they get that for free. The Alpine infantry here, submachine guns, a company commander, artillery observer, light mortars, inexperienced. So this is very much an MSU list that we're dealing with here. Laughley transport to bring up his SMG people, an open-topped carrier that can also do that, and then another rifle platoon because he needs 2 rifle platoons for the Danish Nationals because he's bringing 2 armored platoons. Again, special forces, SMGs, skis, light mortar. What do we think?
Well, first of all, I really appreciate Thor. He's a relatively young guy. He's been playing for just over a year.
Yeah,
But
almost 2 years. Yep.
The list he's bringing are so courageous and they are so abnormal. So he's just such an enjoyable player.
Yep.
And you just have to, you just got to love him for that. Some of the lists I've seen him build before are absolutely amazing.
Mm.
And this one, it's special.
Yeah.
He's going forward with unbelievable unreliable slow tanks, and he's doing it on. He's hitting on a 5 as soon as he moves, and he's gonna need to get up there.
Yeah.
Or else he's just gonna have. Well, he can play the list 2 ways. He can move forward very slowly, then he will hit. Not as good, so it's a bit of a chance game for him because it's 1 dice. And he hits on a 5 as soon as he moves.
Yeah.
Or he can stand down in the back and make a proper gun line with it. It's a +8 tank. I mean, it's special. It's not a list that I would play personally.
I think I would enjoy it.
It would be a fun night.
It really would. And I think he's going to do this. He's going to use them in wolf packs of 3 of the battle snails moving together, and one of them sitting on ambush, 2 of them moving up, shooting, and then the one on ambush will protect them. And then the next turn, the other 2 will move. So he'll move that whole wolf pack in one go, I think. And then behind like 3 of these wolf packs, he'll put his infantry that will slowly advance. Potentially, he could even use his transports right behind the battle snails to drive up and be in hard cover from the tanks. Just pushing them slowly up past the objectives and then rush the infantry up on the objectives. I think that's how it's going to play.
I'm not too sure because I don't think that he will get far enough quickly enough.
No,
But
he's going to be very slow. I agree.
yeah, and the chance of getting taken out, I'm not too sure about that one. I have to say, Paul. But
I think most lists will not have enough to deal with all these 8+ tanks.
no, definitely not. Definitely not. That's going to be a challenge. But he's also got his forward server, which he can actually pin the enemy quite well with.
Yes.
And then actually move up when he's pinning them at the same time.
Yep.
So if he's moving up, shooting his forward server in the same time as his tanks putting out fire just to pin his opponent, I think that will be my strategy with it. Simply push on,
down.
Pin them to oblivion.
Which is also an interesting, like, he has different choices for what he can do, which is really interesting. Yeah,
that is very true. And he's got his light mortars lying in the back, actually helping with the pinning as well.
Yep.
And his company, he only got one company commander.
It's enough. Oh, trust me.
It's definitely enough. But if he moves a whole pack of these up every time, and just keeps pushing, and if you have two sides of the table or in the middle and the flank, and he's got his company commander every time moving 4 tanks every time, and then the other tanks are standing down behind or on the flank and simply pinning up your opponent, that will also be very effective.
Yeah, and you could even put his company commander in one of the transports. He had a Lafley and he had an open-top carrier, which is a 7+ transport. So the commander, because it's open-topped, can look out and give command to everyone around him.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's also got some flack with that level, and I like that he's put it in.
Yeah,
I definitely do.
So it's 12 shots at airplanes. That should be enough to give him 3 hits and scare the plane away.
Definitely, except if your name is Michael C. from Denmark.
Yeah.
But it's definitely an army to watch because it's going to be
an army and a player to watch as well, I think.
Oh, that's for sure. But I do like the whole thing about this heavy armament coming slowly against you. It's like a movie picture when you're sitting there afraid that it's going to hit you. Yeah. When it hits you, it's just going to be smack in the face.
Yeah.
I really like it. It could be fun to play against, that's for sure.
Yeah, and with.
It's very special, I will say that.
Yeah.
Normally, I don't like the slow tanks, but that's because
you like to move. You like the aggression part. I think Thor likes a lot of different moving parts.
Yeah, I haven't played against him yet. I still have that, but we've always made smacks on tournaments and gone around each other. But it's going to be a fun fight to watch. I'm so sad I'm not coming now.
It really is going to be a fun fight.
Yeah,
right. So that was Thor. Then we're going to move to Anders M, and we're going to look at his 600-point list. Anders M is a recent addition to Bold Action. He just started in the last 3 months, 2 months.
2 months.
And he has already made a splash, as many of these newcomers do, because a lot of us immediately spotted that he had been very close to the Danish national team in Warhammer 40k. He had been very close to the Danish national team in Flames of War, and he knew all the right questions. So a lot of us are like, we should notice what he is doing. And this is what he's doing at 600 points. 10 order dice. I like the order dice count for this as well. Double Humber Mark II, so that is the light autocannon version. And he brings a rifle platoon on top of that with an inexperienced platoon commander, extra men. He likes to have a lot of men in his in small teams here, so it's a 3-man unit with submachine guns here. And then 5-men groups, regulars with LMG, regulars with LMG. That's his backline holders, 65 points. Light mortar, inexperienced. Another rifle platoon with another officer, again 2 men extra. Two 5-man veteran SMG armed units. So these are like some sort of veteran soldiers, commandos, stuff like that. And an anti-tank team. And I think that's it. Yep. This is a cut down version of his 1250 list.
Yeah,
what do we think?
First of all, I think it's a bit of a copy of your list.
No, it's not. Definitely not. I don't run all this MSU.
That's true. But the Humbers are fine. They're good, decent vehicle.
Oh, crap. You're talking crap. They're absolutely amazing.
No, they're fine. I used to play them myself when I played Britain, so I know they're good. There's nothing against that. I don't like putting a light machine gun in infantry squads.
You don't?
I never do. I don't use the points on it.
I really like these units here. Interesting.
Yeah, of course you do. That's just not my playing style. I would have popped SMGs in it instead. They're much more effective, I think. But they are good for pinning. It's like he's done with his 3rd platoon, the rifle squad. He's put SMGs in it. I like that a lot better. He's only got 2 SMGs though. 3rd with the NCO. Yeah. Not quite sure I understand that, but
it's the maximum you can take on regular infantry. If you don't want to go the route of commandos, then you can take 3 on regular infantry for the Brits.
Yeah, and commandos are so expensive.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah.
Personally, the last thing, I never put extra soldiers in my platoon commanders.
No, me neither. I understand the compulsion to do so, but I think his list for me lacks one thing. It lacks a decent transport where all these small units can just go inside that armored transport and be transported up towards the enemy, and then all of them jump out at the same time and blast the enemy with multiple small units shooting at them with SMGs. That I think would make this list really good, but that transport is not here.
No, I completely agree. I would probably have taken the transport instead of the anti-tank team. That is for sure. But I completely agree with you. I do also understand why he's put 2 extra men in the platoon commander. It is easier holding a point objective with a few soldiers instead of 1. Yeah. It's especially when they're inexperienced. It's a lot better. You can actually have a loss or 2 before you actually lose the objective. So I definitely understand that. It wouldn't be my preference personally.
No, me neither. But we are different in that way. I think for a new player, a player who's just starting out, I think one of the first things he found out was his officers were just vulnerable and they died off quickly, and he didn't really use them for anything. So his immediate response, I think, is to, well, I'll add a couple of more men so they become a little bit more survivable. They'll stay longer on that objective where I want them to be. Whereas you and me, I think we're hiding our officers most of the time.
Yeah, for sure.
So
that's the point. In my point of view, I need my officers for other things.
Exactly.
And his officers, they are still inexperienced, so they do have submachine guns, so they will hit on the 5 when they move forward if they need to shoot. I understand that, but they are so easy to kill as well. And that's why I don't understand it, because the survivability, if it moves forward with its officers, are so low.
Yeah.
And I would have used the points on something else. I think it's for a beginner, it's a decent list. I
It's a
definitely
really
don't.
decent list for someone who's just starting out. Yeah,
I'm
I think
I'm
it's a
definitely
really
not
good.
saying that. I
And
do like it.
it's very much for me an MSU list, which can be difficult to play, which again speaks to how much Anders here it knows about miniature war games in advance, that he goes down a difficult route because it's the one he likes.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. My own British list, when we are talking 600 points, were very different.
Yep.
I do have to say. But I was also playing Britain in V2, and that was very different.
Yep.
It's very little that I've been wanting to play them in V3.
Yep.
But it would be fun to see.
Yep.
It would definitely be fun to see.
Right. Final list that we're going to go through today is Kent's 600 points list. So Kent has also been traveling abroad with me before. He's not been on the national team, but he is a staple at many of the tournaments here in Denmark. He has 13 order dice in his 600 points list. 13. This is what you can do with Soviets. Isn't this just overpowered? I mean, what the...
It's not. I absolutely love the Soviets. I know it's not overpowered.
They're just so good at this. They have so many small, very cheap units that are still very, very effective.
Yeah,
so he brings
he's
inexperienced platoon commander. He brings regular infantry with a Panzerfaust and the light machine gun. He brings 2 of those. He has 2 scout squads, 6-man units, submachine guns, veterans. They're very, very good. He brings 1 dog mine team, because I don't think he thinks that many people are going to bring much armor. I think he miscalculated on that one. Double AT rifle, because they are the new snipers. And then a heavy weapons platoon with a platoon commander. Light mortars, 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. So finally someone who brought enough light mortars.
I think this is an excellent list. He's done very good at building. I'm so approved.
Yeah.
I mean, the regular infantry with a Panzerfaust and a light machine gun. Even though I said before I'm not that into light machine guns, I still count it. But it's going to be a good backline for him.
It really is, yeah.
But it's how you play, and I definitely see the idea of having the Panzerfaust. Would I do it myself? I'm not sure.
For me, I think he's just trying to push potential enemy armor away so that he can sit back, shoot his light mortars at you, overwhelm you with the amount of zeroing in, while if you're moving up, you'll get a light machine gun if you're soft skinned, or if you're infantry. If you're not, then you'll get a Panzerfaust or a dog mine. And at the same time, he's forward deploying his scouts on objectives. So if you move up to clear those objectives, everything else in his army is shooting at you while you're moving up to clear out veterans who are now in hard cover on an objective with SMGs. Oh, it's going to be tough.
Hands down, this list is better than the one I made for the Soviet 600 points. Yeah. Hands down. I do have to give him that.
It's so good. It's just so good. The only thing I'm missing is a little bit of armor. If you could have found the points for a little bit of armor, this would have been sublime, but the points are not there.
He's gonna, in every match that this guy is gonna go into with 600 points, he's gonna have the advantage of most dice.
Yeah.
He's gonna have, excuse me,
Yep.
the advantage of his forward deploying scouts, which is also gonna be a huge advantage as soon as it's objects.
Yep.
He has his dog teams, which are very threatening, very good, and he's backing them up with anti-tank rifles.
Yep.
It's absolutely perfect. As you say, they are the new snipers, and they are doing so well at it. And backline with the mortar teams, this is going to be a rough army to beat. 600 points, this guy takes the cake. He really does. I'm really looking forward to hearing what he does with this, because he can absolutely, that that's going to be a tough challenge for anyone.
Yeah, it is. Right.
It
Torben, thank you so much for coming on the channel and giving us opinions about the lists. And I'm very sorry not to see you at the Nationals this weekend, but that's how it goes. Got to take care of your health first.
Yeah.
So everyone, I hope you enjoyed the videos here today, and we will see you another time. Cheers.